Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix, and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. The Curse, 2023 to 2024, Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie. This series follows the couple Siegel. Along with their editor Dougie, husband Asher and wife Whitney are seeking to get a show called Fliplanthropy greenlit by HGTV. While filming an ill-conceived attempt at charity for the show, a small girl puts a curse on Asher. A seemingly bizarre and innocuous event turns into much more for the Asher family, as it begins to affect their lives in ways they couldn't possibly understand. I had started this series at the beginning of 2024, but I don't know why I stopped. I picked it back up later in the year, and having finished it, I am ashamed I didn't sooner. This was a one-of-a-kind vision from a pair of very talented minds. With the great Benny Safdie helming many of these episodes, he and comedian Nathan Fielder crafted a uniquely presented story. The show flips between multiple visual styles and blends them together so seamlessly. To start, since this is a show about people creating one of those home decor shows, they had to replicate how those HGTV shows looked, along with some other daytime TV as well. Let me tell you, Benny Safdie and crew recreated that sterile, brightly lit aesthetic so faithfully it was scary. It legitimately felt like I was watching fucking Love It or List It or some shit at times. It was wild. This crew also recreated an episode of Rachel Ray really well, and it didn't look fake or inaccurate in any way. It reminded me a ton of that show and things like The Chew brilliantly. When the show shifts to the narrative portions, the aspect ratio goes from full screen to widescreen, and the cameras change from really obvious digital cameras to high quality film ones. The shooting style in these sections resembles a documentary or behind the scenes footage. Every scene and sequence is shot from these weird guerrilla angles, oftentimes from a great distance. Voyeuristic in nature, these scenes feel like we are getting candid glimpses into these people's lives, with these slow camera zooms coming in to focus us on particular reactions or moments. I love certain shots using the glass on this passive home set, where the character will appear warped because of the reflection, and it will blend seamlessly into the intro of the show, which warps everything before showing the title card. Speaking of sets, I am a big fan of the locations and sets they used in this show. Shooting in the actual neighborhood of Espanola, New Mexico, the warm grain of the film cameras captured that rustic, dingy look of the area really well. Every building and every house felt like it was right from that neighborhood, and I was fully immersed in the world of the show. I also loved that weird glass house they shot in. As I mentioned, the reflective surface was great for cinematography purposes, but the inside was a nice blend of modern aesthetics and that rustic sort of feel the state of New Mexico has. It was cool stuff. But my favorite element of the show had to be the score. Composed by the always wonderful One-O-Tricks Point Never in collaboration with keyboardist John Medeski, these pieces from this show remind me a lot of Lopatin's work on an album like Replica. It is incredibly droning and ambient and warbly in its composition. Melodies will start in a normal manner, then they might fall into this dissonant drone. Another thing it does really well is that contrast in style. This is another one of those shows where the score sounds like it belongs in a horror movie. When you put these weird IDM vaporwave pieces into this, it gives certain scenes an ungodly amount of tension, and it makes your skin crawl in the best way possible. While I'm unfamiliar with her work in a deep way, the music of Alice Coltrane was incorporated into the score and soundtrack, but I can't comment on that any further than mentioning it was used, because I didn't recognize any of the Coltrane pieces. Now it's time to talk about the writing, because this set of scripts is just amazing. Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie crafted something that is simultaneously thoughtful, caustic, and incredibly funny. Tapping into Fielder's brand of awkward cringe humor, seeing Fielder act like a total fucking goon throughout this show. Man, this guy's fucking cringe power levels are through the roof, and he had me in stitches. But first and foremost, this show is incredibly intelligent and touches on so many relevant and fascinating ideas. These themes are often explored as we explore our main characters. To start, we have wife Whitney. This bitch is every aspect of white woman that I utterly loathe. Whitney Siegel is the very definition of performative virtue. The daughter of a rich slumlord, Whitney probably couldn't stand the critical eyes and leering judgment of those around her when it came to what her parents were doing, so she decided to step out on her own. She invested in a community and starts this philanthropy idea to help Espanola thrive. By stepping out on her own, I actually mean she used daddy's seed money to fund her hacky bullshit. Throughout the show, she purposefully puts a business she owns into massive debt because punishing shoplifters is racist or some shit. This is made funnier by how fucking ignorant and pretentious she is when dealing with her native friend and artist Kara. Whitney Siegel just bleeds sanctimony like it's no one's business because at the end of the day, she doesn't give a shit about anyone but herself. She will damn herself to live by these phony morals she has, like when she refuses to sell the house to an average dude who has some right-of-center political leanings. She pretends to care about people like Fernando and Kara, people who actually want to help their community and do right by it, but she only does what she does to make herself feel better and line her pockets. Then we have Asher. Literal micropenis. Like, I don't even need to explain it further than that. It speaks for itself. Yeah, big cock energy is exuded through this character, and he is rightfully mocked for it. He wouldn't be mocked for it if he were an actual charming human being with any level of confidence, but Asher is an insecure, boring tryhard who is desperate to feel validated by anyone who will listen to him. His wife loathes him, and his supposed best friend Dougie thinks he's a total fucking joke. Like, that flip out at the end of episode 9 was, like, fucking scary in terms of how desperate he sounded. We now move on to the previously mentioned Dougie. Dougie is the editor and director of Philanthropy, and compared to the two garbage pile humans he has to work with, Dougie is honest and real about what he is doing and who he is. Like, sure, he's a drunk driver and a bully, but I'd rather have a conversation with Dougie than I would Asher. Dougie seems to have some level of guilt over the choices he has made in his life, and having felt that guilt myself, I can sympathize with realizing how badly one's decisions can fuck your life up. He's a dick, but he's the lesser of, two evils. Before we talk about the ending of this show, we have to praise our cast. Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone are phenomenal as Asher and Whitney. Emma Stone, in her facial mannerisms, her body language, and the way she speaks, is as phony and sanctimonious as you can be without bordering on comedy. I've seen those looks of liberal outrage before, and she fucking nails it. To counter her, Nathan Fielder is used perfectly in this show. His naturally awkward and drab way of speaking really fits Asher. But when it came time to throw down, Nathan Fielder showed he had some amazing acting chops, and I speak specifically of episode 9. Not to be overlooked is Benny Safdie, and Benny Safdie is so dynamic and entertaining as Dougie. He shows many layers of emotion in what he is saying, and he especially plays off of Nathan Fielder really well. With an amazing supporting cast to boot, this show is wonderfully performed, and everyone understood the tone of this show and nailed it. Barkhad Abdi plays a man by the name of Abshir, and he was perfectly casted for the role. Nizhonia Austin was wonderful as Kara, and her scenes with Emma Stone were brilliantly performed. What I think is the most common feature of all these supporting performances is that they are natural. Their reactions and the emotions they are showing all feel authentic, and it further contributes to the themes and the character development in this story. But man, that fucking ending. I kinda don't want to spoil what happens in it, because after 9 episodes of a grounded, realistic story, it comes out of nowhere. It is surreal, it is entertaining, it is thought-provoking, and I have no fucking idea what to make of it. I have vague interpretations of the ending of this story, and how it ties into what happens in the previous 9 episodes, but I can't definitively articulate my thoughts on it. Most certainly a rewatch is needed for me to give any sort of concrete answer as to what it all means. Okay, I've been fucking rambling for long enough, so let me just say The Curse is a stone cold fucking banger. Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie created something memorable, combining Fielder's quirky sense of humor and Benny Safdie's insane talent as a director. I am for sure going to find a Blu-ray of this series, and I am looking forward to watching this again and coming back to you with a more in-depth examination of this marvelous fucking show. Unequivocally, unabashedly recommended. And I am feeling a 9.5 to a 10 out of 10 on this one. Most likely, it's gonna be a 10 on rewatch. Like, fuck, this show is so good. Catch you later, guys.